With YouTube demonetizing independent media, please consider becoming a patron today for just $1 per month. Link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel. And over the course of the past, it feels like a couple years, there has been the ongoing battle against Apu Nahasapita from The Simpsons, a character that is roughly 30 years old in Simpsons canon, main character voiced by Hank Azaria, and it's been, again, a point of controversy. You have people putting out documentaries called The Problem with Apu. You've got a lot of social regressives that are very much trying to push back against the show, by calling the character and the stereotype racist and bigoted. You've got Hank Azaria, who is the actor who voices Apu, coming out and saying that he's willing to walk away if it's so what the creators and the showrunners want, which I don't think is necessarily the case, considering the fact that the showrunners have basically addressed this as a non-issue and kind of gave everyone the middle finger as a result, which don't get me wrong, was funny. I thought it was well handled, right? And now we finally got ourselves a confirmation of opinion from the creator of the character, creator of the show, and that of course is Matt Groening, who in an interview here, he shuts down the racism claims by saying that people love to pretend that they're offended. Ah, yes, the faux outrage of the internet. Those people out there that are morally offended on behalf of other people they've never met in their entire life, and they want to make sure that everyone knows about it. Because that's where we find ourselves all the time. Anything you can get mad at and maybe get a buck off of. It says here that the Simpsons creator Matt Groening is refusing to surrender to leftist brigade, accusing the Simpsons of promoting racism over its Indian character Apu. Speaking to USA Today, Groening said that he was very proud of some of the places the show had gone in recent years, citing the animation studio's effort to highlight other artists like Don Hertzfeldt and Bill Plimpton, which is always good to branch out, right? And when they went CG or they went computer animated, it was definitely a different style. It took a little bit of getting used to, but also really streamlined the process of creating the show. Now, asked if he thought the criticism of Apu is a stereotype, Groening disagreed. He says, "I'm proud of what we do on the show, and I think it's time in our culture where people love to pretend they're offended," which again is very true. And believe it or not, there's an interesting kind of recent social thing that ties into Matt Groening, and I want you guys to understand this. So, the Simpsons live on Evergreen Terrace. Right? They live on, I forget the number, but they live on Evergreen Terrace. Now, you might have heard the name Evergreen before, especially a year ago, when Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington, became a very, very, very hot topic in regards to the day of absence, when Professor Brett Weinstein, who was an evolutionary biologist, came out and said, yeah, this is dumb. We shouldn't do it. White people shouldn't be forced to leave the campus. And then he was attacked by the social aggressives, and it caused this very interesting national conversation. Now, I live in Olympia, not far from the school, and trust me, no one here is on the side of the campus. But it brought a lot of attention to Evergreen. Now, you may have drawn the comparison there. Matt Groening named Evergreen Terrace after Evergreen State College, where he attended. So this extremely liberal school, and it is an extremely liberal school that has not changed its ideals. Maybe it's gone a bit more extreme over the years, but ultimately those people around this area are known as greeners. And the joke is you can smell them coming a mile away because they don't ever bathe. That's a big part. So what you have here is a man who went to the school, who pushed this huge agenda last year, named the street that his titular characters live on, coming out and saying that people are too easily offended these days, that they love to pretend that they're offended. Now, while many Indians, both those living in India and abroad, consider the character to be an intelligent, kind, if somewhat quirky depiction of their culture, one comedian, bolstered by a brigade of professional offense takers, has called out the cartoon for its seemingly problematic nature. Hari Kondabalu, whose only claim to fame appears to be his documentary denouncing the character called The Problem with Apu, sparked off a debate over the character that has caused no shortage of salt among the perpetually offended left, many of whom are demanding the Simpsons writers retire the character. They've been demanding this for years now. This isn't a recent thing. It's been a couple years. But like I talked about this before in the video about Hank Azaria saying he'd walk away. There are interesting depictions of, you could say, of brown face when it comes to this particular culture. Short Circuit 2 is a prime example. Fisher Stevens played the Indian character, the Indian programmer in that movie, and he's white as hell. that's an instance where, yeah, you can sit there and go, I can see what they're talking about. But Apu is an animated character. He's not, not a real actor. It's not like Hank Azaria is putting on, a turban and brown face and going out there every single week and playing this up. That's an entirely different thing. And he's always played it over the top, as in every other stereotype that the show embodies. We know that the show plays up these stereotypes as part of the quirkiness of the characters that populate Springfield. So the complaints appear to have gotten to its voice actor, Hank Azaria, who said he'd be perfectly happy and willing to step aside to respect their feelings. But that's also, to be fair, the only answer that Hank Azaria could really give. He's not in control of the character. He has no say. He has no swing, no pull, for the most part. But at the same time, he really can't do much. But him coming out and saying, oh, I'm happy to walk away if they want me to, is a way to get the heat off of him, because there was a lot of it that was directed at him. It's a smart move. It's a very smart move, in my opinion, but we don't quite know how fully true it is if he still continues to play the part. I guess it all boils down to whenever the next contract renewal is, but that who knows if there's going to be another contract renewal by the time the show does finally get its series finale. Now, however, the show writers do not appear to share his views and have instead mocked Kondabalu's campaign in a recent episode of the show, saying here, something that started decades ago and was applauded as inoffensive is now politically incorrect. What can you do? Says Lisa Simpson, to which Marge replies while nodding, some things will be dealt with at a later date. And then, of course, there's a picture of Apu here, as we can see, saying, don't have a cow. I mean, obviously, it's a direct reference back to that, and that really did anger a lot of these perpetually offended people, as it was, I think, going to. But that's good that the show creators, the show runners at this point, are sitting there and they're holding their ground. We don't see that much anymore. And the fact that Matt Groening, who is a liberal, who went to a very left-leaning college in the state of Washington, came out of Portland, which again is very liberal, very left-leaning, is coming out and saying that people are perpetually offended and they love being that way, really tells you the state of where the left is right now. It's very fascinating to me. Now, Groening says that he intends to let the show speak for itself concerning the Apu controversy. The creator says he has no plans to end The Simpsons anytime soon, and he does not see the end in sight. Well, we've heard talks about 30 seasons and whatnot. We've heard those talks for quite some time about whether or not that's going to be the case. But I have to really give credit to Matt Groening here. I do. I have to give credit to Matt Groening. For one, for creating the show, which hey, we're in the latter part of its 20s. I think it's season 29 right now. The show has been around since the late 1980s. In terms of being on the Tracy Ullman Show, it's gone through now multiple decades of being around. It is a cultural phenomenon, and it's entirely possible that Fox is simply just too afraid to cancel it because of the money that it brings in. Having 30 seasons of a show works really well in terms of syndication rights, or charging a premium for certain people through cable in order to get them the Simpsons world, which was actually going to be a thing for a while. I don't know if it still is anymore, where they would charge you a few bucks a month in order to get access to all the content. That's, there's a lot of money to be made there, essentially. Never mind the fact merchandising. But he's right. People here who are perpetually offended very much need to just get the hell over themselves, because this is, again, not anything that's being portrayed in a way that is horrible. People abroad like the character. It's like the girl who wore the Chinese dress to prom and that one guy got mad and caused a stir, whereas people in China are supportive of her. People in China have come out and they've been like, yeah, you did a good job. Like, we totally support you wearing this dress because you look good in it and you're not being disrespectful to the culture. There are things that can happen, but people who live in that perpetually offended bubble generally just want to, again, regress back and never want to, come out and I think they pick the stupid targets, right? If there are people out there wearing blackface and going out there and saying really horrible things, I totally get that. Fighting back against that. This isn't one of those cases, and hopefully they'll figure it out. But anyway, what do you guys have to say about this? Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been the Mundane Matt channel. If you haven't already, please thumbs up the video, subscribe, check back often for more content from me. If you want to help support the channel, Patreon's a great way to do it. And if you just want to watch more content, which I hope you do, you can do so right now. Hey, thank you very much for watching the video. Be sure to hit that subscribe, click on that bell, and follow me on social media. It's the best way to stay up to date on all things Mundane Matt, as well as check out 3 Buck Theater and the Russell podcast streaming Sunday through Thursday, 9:30 p.m. on russell.net. Thanks very much and have a great day.